Dark Elves versus High Elves. Ooh, Alacrity going to be bringing the High Elves, and our red player going to be bringing those Dark Elves. I always like to see a good old High Elf Dark Elf match. Alright, so let's go ahead, watch this replay. Alright, as always, let me know if sound, video quality, all that stuff is good. Does look like I've been having some frame rates drop with connectivity issues, so just let me know if that gets too out of hand. But already, looking like we have some interesting armies ahead of us. So for the High Elves, we're going to have Shadow Warriors, 4 of them making up that front line. We're also going to have 2 Spearmen, 1 White Line of Trace, and 2 Dragon Princes with a Flamespire Phoenix up in the air, and Teclis down on the ground. He is going to be riding his horse into battle. He's going to have Sword of Teclis along with Boundfire Convocation. Don't know why I couldn't remember that. Potion of Shakroy, Regrowth, Enfeebling Foe, Net of Mimont, Greater Arcane Conduit, and other things. We're also going to be seeing 2 Illyrian Reavers vanguarded off in the corner to get in the Dark Elf rear. For the Dark Elves, we're going to be seeing what appears to be Dread Spears, 3 of them in the front line with the Hellebrone making the center. Bleak Swords. I like that those guys all have Silver Shield, so you know they're going to absorb a lot of the damage, or with their block chance. We also have 3 Dark Shards, also with Silver Shields. 3 Hargoneth Executioners backing up that Dark Elf front line. Then in the rear, we're going to have 2 Cold One Knights, 2 Dark Riders with shields. Also going to be seen as Supreme Sorceress of Death on top of a horse. Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech going to be her kit. Alright, there we go. Oh, here comes a Boundfire Convocation on top of that net, I would hope. We will see if it gets cast down in time. Oh, kind of at an angle. Oh, he dropped it. Damn. Definitely a shame there. He could have deleted those Hargoneth Executioners completely with 1 well-placed Fire Convocation with that Net of Mintok going down, but nonetheless, it doesn't look like the High Elves have lost anything besides the Winds of Magic right there, so not going to be the end of the world with that loss, but definitely an opportunity that has been missed. Over here, seeing these Dark Shards with their shields, in spite of the Silver Shields, still not going to be able to resist that damage, and I like that the High Elves have switched up targeting. You can see initially it looks like they were targeting this guy, the Bleak Sword, got him down to half health, but now they've changed their attentions to the Dark Shards, eliminate your opponent's missile options, and that does handicap them in a severe way. Alright. Shadow Warriors look like they're turning their attentions over here to these Dark Shards. Nope, nope, just kidding. They actually hit the Bleak Swords there. I'm a liar. I'm a dirty, dirty liar. So High Elves continuing to just pull back, expel ammunition with their Shadow Warriors. They're all down to about a third ammo, with the exception of this guy who's just above half ammunition. And I think my biggest concern right now is just, you know, the High Elves really need to deal with Hargoneth Executioners now. Teclis, he has his chance to do it again right here, and we'll see if this one actually lands, and it looks like this one is going to be successful. Keeping an eye on that Hargoneth Executioner health bar. Oh, right down to about a quarter health. They're already just their leadership just tanking, and that was painful to see. No healing for the Dark Elves, of course, so even though they still have 72 models, their HP will not come back. Over here, Dragon Princes look like they might make a play. I was actually curious to see when they would start coming out to battle, and it looks like, oh, they might have faked us out one more time. Okay, here they are, going in for a charge against these Bleak Swords. The Bleak Swords unbracing, and that is going to open them up to so much damage. Dragon Prince is going to be able to easily retreat, and another nice pickup for the High Elf player here, Alacrity. Fate of Buna going down on top of the Dragon Princes, but a Regrowth has gone down to counter it. They're not losing any models, so I think overall that Fate of Buna will be a miss. Because what High Elves need to do now is throw down another heal on these guys, and you can get them right back to 100% since they have all 45 models. High Elves over here charging into Dread Spears. Very nice engagements across the board for the High Elves. White Lines of Trace getting into combat with the Hell of Broni. And I think these initial engagements are all going to go very, very well for the High Elves. My question is, will they be able to keep their cav healthy enough to deal with the Hargoneth Executioners who are now pouring in? One of them looks like they're about to be dealt with. The one that did suffer the fire convocation is now taking a charge from these Dragon Princes and getting shot by archers. But Dragon Prince is staying in combat a bit too long, and the high armor piercing from these great swords is going to be hacking away at their health. And yeah, they're going to finally turn around now. Over here, same thing. Dragon Prince is in combat with Hargoneth Executioners. Dragon Princes pretty much are the only answer for the High Elves right now to deal with these Hargoneth Executioners. So that's really going to be where the battle is won or lost, I think, for the High Elves. And it looks like right now they're doing a good job to address it. And over here, White Lines of Trace coming into combat with these Hargoneth Executioners. But, oh no, abandoning the combat to come deal with these Dark Shards. Oh, and a Spirit Leech going down on top of them. So that's actually going to help counter it quite a lot. Wait, where did that Spirit Leech go down? I actually think I missed the real target of it, because the only person with Spirit Leech here is a Dark Elf, so she did not Spirit Leech her Hargoneth Executioners. Balance of Power is now dead even, as Teclis has gotten stuck on the ground in the middle of Dark Riders with shields and Cold One Knights. The Dark Elves, in spite of all the damage they've taken in those infantry engagements, have done an excellent job of keeping their cavalry tip-top shape. And so now it's really the Dark Elves who have that cav advantage as we're approaching the late game, and it's a factor I wasn't covering enough because these Dragon Princes, even though they're healthy, going to have a tough time. But oh my goodness, could this Boundfire Convocation completely melt the Cold One Knights? And it looks like it's going to connect successfully. Oh, and it did a lot of damage, but is it enough? Over here, we do see the Flamespire Phoenix coming in. Another Spirit Leech hitting Teclis, though. He has a regrowth on top of him. A regrowth on top of him. So we'll see if that's enough, but look at this. Hargoneth Executioners now closing in behind all of that High Elf cavalry that was poured in to save him. And now this is going to go to the Dark Elves. These Hargoneth Executioners going to completely change the complexion of this engagement. And now I think we're just going to see a High Elf loss as the Dark Elves sandwich them between elite infantry. And it was going so well for the High Elves there. Some beautiful micro on display in the early to mid game. But then just this late game, I'm guessing misclick that I must have missed, getting Teclis into a very precarious situation with these Cold One Knights. And bada bing, he is done. And that's the thing, on top of his cavalry, on top of his horse, he's very vulnerable. As soon as he gets pinned in place by these Cold One Knights, it was pretty much game over from there. And wow, what an incredible first game. Both players playing beautifully. But Dark Elves pulling it out in the end with those clutch Cold One Knights and Hargoneth Executioners. What an excellent Medieval 3 mod. What's up, Romulan? Hey, Corner View. Terrier, good to see you. So let's update the scoreboard and see what the scoreboard, or the post-battle screen is showing us. And Teclis definitely got a lot of damage in there. That first, I mean, honestly, it's crazy to think, chat. Imagine if in the beginning of that battle, he actually successfully landed the first fiery convocation. I think honestly, that could have made enough of a difference for him to win that in the end. Because it was a close fight. Not saying it would have won it, but that's definitely a factor here. I mean, we saw what one successful fiery convocation did to these Hargoneth Executioners. If the other one was successful, who knows what would have happened there, because the Dark Elves clearly needed every last Hargoneth Executioner they got there in the late game. So just goes to show little things become big things, as my friend Romulan always says. But Alacrity, a beautiful game there, especially in the early phases with that skirmishing and some awesome cycle charging from the Dragon Princes, getting impressive kill counts. But yeah, this is not an easy army to play, and I think he played it very, very well. All right, here we go. Get that blocker off. Ruins of Enduil is the map, and looks like we're going to be seeing Alacrity with Volkmar the Grim taking on EC Mimont with a Lamian Vampire Lord. One of them seducing vampires. Oh my goodness, look how high up in the air this Lamian Vampire Lord is. Boom, 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 boom. She does look pretty cool flying in from that high. But let's go ahead and cover her army. It's round 2, so we're starting with the red player, and we're going to kick it into pause since we got some early skirmishing action we do not want to miss. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 zombies. 1, 2, 3, and 4 Graveguard. On the right flank, we're going to be seeing Blood Knights. Looks like 2 units. And then on the left flank, we're going to be seeing some Direwolves. Up in the air, we have Felbats. 2 White Kings, as is pretty much the go-to now with the Scabscrath on each of them. Lamian Vampire Lord is going to be on that Zombie Dragon, as you can see. She's going to have Seduce. Is that what it's called? Or Seduction? Yeah, Seduction. Lightning Reflexes, Penumbral Pendulum, Raise Dead, Invocation to Heck. Gotta love that Penumbral Pendulum, and I think that's one of the main reasons Lamian Vampire Lord is brought, for that nice spell combination of Shadow and Vampire. Pistoliers for the Empire, going to be the ones making their presence known up here in the front line. Going to be skirmishing away, and I think they're rightly seeing that there's really nothing to threaten them too much right now. And they're actually going to start shooting that White King, so we'll check in on that progress in just a moment. Over here, up on the hill in a strong position, we're going to see Halberds. Looks like 3 of them, 4 of them. Got Spearmen as well, all of them pretty boxy formations. Got some great swords in the center with the Sigmar Sons. And then we're going to be seeing Empire Knights in the back line. Now, for the leadership, Bright Wizard on foot, Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin, and Kindle Flame. Volkmar the Grim, Grand Soulfire, Grand Hammer of Sigmar, and Grand Shield of Faith, with Banishment and the Jade Griffin. So, 2 interesting armies, and it's time to see what happens. Right now, the Pistoliers, in spite of their best efforts, don't seem to be having the best luck shooting down these White Kings. And I think these Pistoliers are putting themselves in a very precarious situation to where they could potentially get sandwiched between zombies and Blood Knights. Alright, Empire Pistoliers pulling back now. Looks like they've decided they've had enough. And oh, look at this, some Knights of the Blazing Sun that I did miss. And I'm not digging the Empire blob formation. I know Empire can have some powerful things going here, but the Vampire Counts, I'm still just always an advocate against it. This is going to have some nasty scrap potential. Cab is staying tucked into the pocket here. Pistoliers all retreating into that pocket too. And the Empire looking like they're going to be trying to take full advantage of this uphill advantage. But over here, not really going to be an uphill advantage to speak of. First Scabscrath going down, hitting the Halberds, but not doing too much damage. Second Scabscrath going down, doing much more damage on those Halberds. Blood Knights are really far out of position, so I think the Empire is missing a huge opportunity here to be using their Empire Knights and Knights of the Blazing Sun to charge down the Graveguard as much as they can before the Blood Knights get there. And as I say that, I do notice that these guys are engaged in these Empire Knights as well. Over here, Knights of the Blazing Sun coming out and beautifully getting a charge on top of these Graveguard. And now turning their attentions back here to the Direwolves, who are chasing the Pistoliers. At this point, I would honestly just turn the Pistoliers around and charge the Direwolves. And Knights of the Blazing Sun can then easily hit him from the rear to destroy him. Penumbral Pendulum going down. Not doing the most damage from the looks of it. A Burning Head going down and destroying these zombies. And right now, Empire starting out strong once again in the initial stages. I would say Alacrity demonstrating some excellent micro. But we will see what happens from here, because the Vampire player does have all of his key units alive and well. I think that's the thing we need to remember here, is he really hasn't lost anything important. 2 Blood Knights full health, Vampire Lord full health, 2 White Kings full health. The only thing of any real value he may be losing right now is the Direwolves. Alright, Pistoliers going to be shooting the Vampire Lord. Banishment going down over here on top of some Graveguard. It looks like it is going to whiff it, as it so often does, though. Alright, Pistoliers are kind of getting caught up now in the muck. Knights of the Blazing Sun doing their best to help them, and now Halberds are being deployed into battle. Penumbral Pendulum looks like it can be nicely placed. Yeah, going to do a lot of damage to those spearmen. And right now, the balance of power pretty much dead even. Vampires maybe with a slight edge. And I have to say, the Empire, although it's doing okay, I just think, once again, the blob engagement is not working out for them in the end. You know, this is the Vampire count strength. Tight, close quarters combat. They don't have any ranged units, so they really just want to be in as dense a formation as possible for the most part. And right now, we've seen the Lambian Vampire Lord now terror out the Bright Wizard, and that Bright Wizard is just taking nasty damage. Over here, a Grand Soulfire going down, though, doing a lot of damage from Volkmar. And he is still full health, and Volkmar is no chump, no doubt about it. But we will see if he can hang out here. I think it's really going to come down to how long these Halberdiers can hold up. As long as the Halberdiers and some of the Empire Cav is there to support against the Blood Knights, I think the Empire can pull this off. But Blood Knights, if they're on top of Volkmar and he has no supporting Cav or infantry, he'll go down pretty quick. Ooh, Breath going in, hitting the Knights of the Blazing Sun. And there they go, routing. And now the balance of power is really starting to shift against the Empire here. Graveguard getting into the back lines. Summons just coming up everywhere. And yeah, this is just seems like a Vampire count victory to me, because this is what they do so well. Just tar pit you and drag you down, make you feel successful with your initial plays, killing off units, only to make you realize at the end that your Blood Knights and your heroes are still alive. I mean, I suppose maybe I'm being too doom and gloom, though. We do still have some Halberds regrouping over here, some Empire Knights with them to provide that mass support. Volkmar the Grim is still crushing things. Great Swords here are still alive and actually doing quite well for themselves, as the Graveguard are no match for them. But with that dragon up in the air, it's looking rough. Pistoliers opening fire. Here comes another Grand Soulfire from Volkmar. That should be enough to delete these Graveguard. Fellbats. A unit I forgot about, but clearly our Vampire count player has not been used to chase this Bright Wizard off. Nice use of the chaff forces there. Over here, terror kicking in almost immediately as the Lambian Vampire Lord dives into combat here. And I think that's going to be the problem. It's just like the terror from the dragon with how tattered all of this Empire infantry is. They're just going to rout on contact. But, you know, Volkmar the Grim still doing a great job whittling down these White Kings. I have to give it to him. One of the White Kings is about to die. The other one losing health. But I think that's it. Looks like army losses are going to be kicking in. And Volkmar shall die in the name of Sigmar. Beautiful games to both players, and a GG to EC Mimont winning that in a 2-0 fashion. But huge shout out to Alacrity. He played some beautiful games, and you know, just EC Mimont playing the long game quite well there. I think, you know, Alacrity really playing some strong early games, and I think a lot of players would have gotten, you know, knocked off guard, perhaps a little bit, you know, tilted in the early stages of those battles. But then EC Mimont just staying composed and keeping his win conditions in mind, and I think demonstrating really good unit prioritization, but not in terms of even targeting his enemy units, but like unit prioritization in terms of like which units to keep in reserve on his side. I mean, Lamia Vampire Lord was in the air for most of that battle, never putting herself in danger until she absolutely had to, or saw that there was really no risk for her engaging something. So just really well played, and same with the Hargoneth Executioners and Cold One Knights in the last battle. So well done to EC Mimont, and a big shout out to Alacrity. GG to both players.